This show is brought to you by NMDC Group.
Saudi's economy contracts 4.5% in Q3, and the kingdom is set to host the 2034 World Cup. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Faraj. Saudi's real GDP contracted by 4.5% in Q3 year-on-year, hit by a drop in oil activities. Official data shows oil activities declined 17.3%. The Saudi economy grew rapidly last year on the back of high oil prices, which averaged $100 per barrel. It boosted Saudi to the country with the highest GDP growth among G20 nations, as it registered its first budget surplus in nearly a decade. The non-oil sector saw 3.6% growth in Q3, and government activities saw 1.9% growth. Meanwhile, the kingdom seems set to host the 2034 World Cup after Australia opted out of bidding for the tournament. With FIFA's deadline for declarations of interest expiring today, Saudi is the only country in the running. Saudi announced a declaration of interest within hours of FIFA outlining the process for hosting the tournament. Officials say it will help the kingdom achieve its dream of becoming a leading nation in world sport and will mark a significant milestone in the country's transformation. Abu Dhabi-based National Marine Dredging Company has officially unveiled its new corporate brand identity. The new brand will be applied to all NMDC subsidiaries, including those specializing in dredging and marine, energy, construction, and engineering. NMDC says the strategic move is aimed at consolidating its group of companies under the NMDC umbrella. It says it will bring businesses together and unite diverse capabilities, strengths, and expertise. BP saw Q3 earnings of $3.3 billion but missed analyst forecasts. It compares with bumper profits of $8.2 billion in Q3 last year, when oil and gas prices soared after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Strong oil trading and refining margins were offset by weak gas results, while the firm wrote down a large chunk of a U.S. offshore wind project. BP says while oil production was strong in the quarter, gas trading was weak in recent months. Economic growth in the Eurozone fell in Q3, weighed down by its largest economy, Germany. Eurostat data showed the economy shrank by 0.1% after recording only 0.2% growth in Q2. The figures reflect the difficulties facing the Eurozone, including the cost of living crisis. Meanwhile, Eurozone inflation dropped more than expected in October. Eurostat data shows consumer price inflation slowed to 2.9%, the lowest rate since July 2021, and lower than predicted by analysts. The global diamond sector is scrambling to get ahead of an upcoming G7 ban on Russian gems. Direct sales of Russian gems have already been crushed by U.S. sanctions on Russia's state diamond miner Alrosa. Now the G7 is preparing a further ban on indirect sales in its member countries. But even before it's enforced, producers say Western customers have been shunning gemstones from Russia, the world's biggest producer of rough diamonds by volume, with 30% of the market. It's time now for today's Forbes Real-Time Billionaires Ranking, which tracks the daily wins and losses of the world's wealthiest people. Our biggest winner today is Jeff Bezos. He's at $4.9 billion, now with net wealth of $155.5 billion. Our second biggest winner today is LVMH's Bernard Arnault, up $4.8 billion with net wealth of $178.5 billion. And our third place winner is Indonesian petrochemicals billionaire Prajogo Pengestru, up $2.2 billion with net wealth of $17.9 billion. Check out our website and our social media for all of the latest billionaires news. And Porsche will integrate Google Maps, Google Assistant, and other apps from Google Play into its future cars. The move marks a shift from Porsche's previous reluctance to use Google software, reportedly because Google asked for too much data to be shared. Porsche was in talks with Google and Apple and Baidu, Tencent, and Alibaba in China for automated driving and infotainment technology. Car makers including GM, Renault, Nissan, and Ford use embedded Google tech in their vehicles. I'm Ramia Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
This show is brought to you by NMDC